Oh, I see, it's your lucky day. Hi, it's Stella, Hobo, Ella. So I'm gonna tell you how such an inconsistent person like myself learned the language and actually make sense in the language. So I would not understand. Stay tuned. Last time I checked, my level of English was C1 or B2, it depends on the test. And I am skeptical about this all because they are made for certain things. For example, for moving abroad or for a certain type of visa. So that's why I don't really rely on any tests. So I have always been fascinated by languages, and it was like, you know, like a certain code that only you know and some group of people knows, and like it's a key to the whole ocean of information. Yeah, it's like something mysterious, if you like. As I was learning the language, Russian people and foreign people would compliment me on that, and Russian people would ask me, how did you learn? Your English is so cool, how did you learn? And I'm like, okay, here is the list. And they'd be like, this is so difficult. And I'm like, yeah, it's not like a one-day thing, an overnight thing. Because people like thinking about overnight success. They see all these examples when somebody, poof, and popular and successful, but these are just exceptions. It's not how life works. You actually have to work your ass off to achieve anything in life. The thing with me is that I pick up languages pretty easily, but I lack of consistency. The first memory I have about actually wanting to learn the language is from my kindergarten. There was this girl who was pretty rich, and I wouldn't say I am from a poor family. We had different stages. Back in the day, her parents literally bought the whole kindergarten, and there was another girl like that. Anyway, she would brag about how she learns English, and there was this word. She asked me like if I knew a meaning of it. Was hippopotamus, I remember. She'd be like, do you know the meaning? I'm like, no, I don't. At that moment something clicked and I'm like, oh, I want to learn the language. So back in kindergarten we had English lessons, I believe, but it was like once a week or something like that, which is nothing. In my opinion, and what I find effective is that you have to be like repetitive, consistent about learning something. It could be this small, but you have to do it every day, or like to skip a day, but you have to do it on a daily basis in order to actually learn something. And some studies prove that. And as I'm speaking, I'm realizing that I make sense in another language, and I didn't actually pay for any knowledge. I mean, but books. Weird. And now in school, I'm in the strong group of English learners. There was, I believe, about 8 of us, less than 10. And there was this group, 25 people who actually didn't give a about learning the language for some reason. I was in that group because, like I said, I pick up languages pretty quickly and without actually learning, putting much effort into it. Then again, I lack consistency because and back in school I would play video games, you know, in English too, but I don't think that I would understand much. Who knows? My English teacher would see potential in me, and I believe she liked me as a person as well, which would help me too, because I had this arts teacher and math teacher. Both would hate my guts. Was the main reason why I quit painting, and I was actually very good at it when I was a kid. And math, I was good at it too. This is how you kill a mathematician and a painter. For some reason, I decided to take an English exam without actually learning anything. Duh! Of course, I almost failed it because for exams, you have to learn certain things, certain vocabulary. You have to be able to speak like a robot. And the most effed up thing is that my classmates, they would complain about how their parents would make them go to English schools. And I was the person who really wanted that. But yeah, circumstances. I was like, oh, I wish. There was a moment when I decided to buy some self-learning books, actually start learning. So what I would do, I would learn grammar with those books and on YouTube, and I would dig very hard to find any shows with subtitles, like in original with subtitles. The thing is in Russia that everything is dubbed, which is annoying because sometimes they use terrible voices, they are not accurate, and I'm very annoyed by it. Still, I'm a snob when it comes to these things. I really wanna know what they actually said, not the way you interpreted it, but what they actually said. The sea of information, like I said, you know. And I would also use language exchange websites, apps, and I would make foreign friends all over the world and in Moscow as well, and I would hang out with them, especially with English people. So I remember my English friends and we came across this group of English guys in Moscow at the bar. When they were traveling, they had like a pass. They travel with a football club, which is but yeah, football club. They would travel and watch matches when the world was normal, not like now. Destroying the myth about Russians and vodka. The English people, huge fans of vodka with juice, and Russians actually drink whiskey. And those English, they actually knew Moscow better than me. I'm a Muscovite, I'm a person who lives here. And I would also attend a language exchange meeting as well. It was a huge group of people, you know, divided on languages. Mostly, of course, it's English. There was also like a German, Chinese, this and that. Normally, people would not speak well, so not much to learn. Mostly, I would speak to native speakers or to foreign people, so we would not understand each other in any other language but English. So we were forced to actually make effort, and this is what I believe is the best way. And there were also times when I would spend like 8 8 hours on an English book. The prepositions are very confusing. Still, it's the first thing that not native speakers up. Even though, you know, I get so surprised that you guys tell me that I speak better than most Americans or most Brits, and that sometimes even my friends or acquaintances would tell me that they Google the words that I use. It's because I really, from the very beginning, I really wanted to sound eloquent and witty. So I would watch these shows with my favorite characters, which are also ENTPs. Yeah, what a coincidence. And I would use this technique, which my Patreon, who I teach Russian language, uses. He sometimes, like a parrot, walks around the house or elsewhere. But if you care what other people think, don't do that in front of other people. He repeats Russian sentences, for example, and I would repeat English sentences. I am watching this show. I stop every time I don't understand anything. In the beginning, I would not understand. I had to stop a lot, and sometimes it was annoying me a lot, but I was very determined. I wouldn't say that I would read a lot, although I have read a few books, simply because you have to learn how to spell things. And it was also difficult to find books in English because they cost a lot. People don't really require them to buy, they don't order them. So one of the reasons why I wanted to speak the language is the sea of information out there. Second of all is that I wanted to get to know foreign people, what they think, because I'm a naturally curious person. And that I wanted to move abroad, to study abroad. I learned everything about moving to Western countries, this and that. I even lived in Europe, like briefly, and lived in Bali. At this point, I'm like very chill about that. I just really like changing surroundings at this point. My main advice is that you should not be shy about speaking the new language and making mistakes, because it's a part of a learning process. You cannot not make mistakes. You will always make mistakes. Just admit that. I used to be so ashamed of my accent, of making mistakes. It was a huge problem. But then I forced myself to start speaking. The thing is that you have to control grammar for a while in the beginning, especially. Now I'm not thinking of Russian words. I'm just, getting something out. But what I have in English, like right away, people in Russia, they make this mistake that they translating everything literally. They translating things from Russian, and it doesn't make sense. It's like, there is this thing when you kind of grammatically correct, but you don't make any. It doesn't sound natural to native speakers. I noticed that when somebody learns Russian, for example. So kind of grammatically correct, but we don't speak like that, and vice versa. Thank you so much for watching. Hit like, hit the bell, subscribe to my channel, and share it with your friends. Thank you so much. See you. But me, no, I don't. I cannot stand the whiskey, cognac, and all these things. The smell of them, it's just horrible. I cannot just